You ever open your period tracking app, see that little number? Maybe it's 26 days this month, maybe it's 34, and instantly wonder, uh-oh, is that normal? Take a breath. Let's sit down together, like friends at a kitchen table, and straighten out the facts once and for all. I've dug into the NHS guidance on periods. Yes, the same pages your GP trusts, and I'm going to walk you through everything in plain language. No fluff, no judgment, just the stuff you actually need. By the end, you'll know exactly what counts as normal, why your own cycle might wander a little, which signs mean it's time to see a doctor, and a handful of simple habits that can make life every month a whole lot easier. Now, I'm not here to lecture. Think of this as the chat I wish someone had with me years ago. Welcome to Balanced Woman UK. This channel is all about clear, evidence-based women's health information you can trust. Everything in this video is based on official NHS and NICE guidance, and I've linked all sources in the description below. First, let's start with definitions. A menstrual cycle isn't just the days you're bleeding. It starts on day 1 of bleeding, call that day 1, and ends the day before your next day 1. If you count those days and land anywhere between 21 and 35, congratulations! You're sitting comfortably inside the NHS normal zone. That means a 22-day cycle is normal, so is a 34-day cycle. Consistency matters more than hitting some magical textbook number. Most people have been taught the tidy 28-day rule. It's tidy all right, but only about 1 in 8 cycles actually stick to it. Real bodies are squishier than charts, and that's okay. Think of cycle length like shoe size. There's an average, but plenty of healthy variation. Let's zoom out for a second and talk about the moving parts inside. Your cycle has 3 main chapters. Chapter 1 is the follicular phase. That's where your body preps an egg. Think of it as spring cleaning inside the ovaries. Hormone number 1, estrogen, climbs steadily. Chapter 2 is ovulation, the big one-day release party when that egg launches. Then we slide into Chapter 3, the luteal phase, powered by progesterone. Nature's cozy blanket preparing the womb in case pregnancy happens. If it doesn't, hormone levels dip, the lining sheds, and bingo, day 1 pulls up again. Why bother with that quick tour? Because every factor that lengthens or shortens your cycle tinkers with one of those chapters. Stress might delay ovulation by a couple days. Thyroid problems can chop or stretch the follicular phase. Perimenopause shakes everything like a snow globe. Knowing the roadmap helps you see why your personal cycle might shift now and then. Let's put some real-life color on those shifts. Imagine Emma, 30, works a demanding marketing job, trains for half marathons on weekends. When her workload peaked last quarter, cortisol spiked, ovulation nudged back, and her 27-day rhythm stretched to 30. She panicked until her GP smiled and said, "Still normal." 2 months of steadier sleep later, she was back to 27. Story 2. Maya, 16, only started periods last year. Some cycles hit 23 days, others wander to 40. Her hormones are still finding their groove. Doctors call that adolescent variability. Also normal, as long as she isn't fainting from heavy flow or cramping in agony. Story 3. Sarah, 48, notices gaps getting shorter. 21, 22, 23. Then suddenly a 40-day wait. That's perimenopause waving hello. Again, expected. See the pattern? Context is king. Numbers by themselves rarely tell the whole tale. Now, how do you actually measure your own cycle without turning into a spreadsheet zombie? Easiest method. Mark day 1 on a calendar or inside an app the moment bleeding starts. Bright red emoji, sticker, whatever sparks joy. Next time bleeding starts, count back to the previous day 1. That number is your cycle length. Jot it down. Repeat for at least 3 months. Average out the numbers. That's your baseline. Apps automate the math, but paper works fine. If you like bonus data, add short notes. Cramps level, mood, cravings, energy. Patterns pop. Maybe 2 days before every bleed, your patience with co-workers vaporizes. Hello, PMS. Better to expect it than feel ambushed. Because we're friends here, I'm going to level with you. Tracking can feel tedious. My trick? Tie it to something you already do daily, like brushing your teeth at night. Calendars on the bathroom shelf. Jot a single digit. 60 seconds tops. Alright, you've got your baseline. What could push that baseline around? 8 usual suspects. First up, stress. Whether it's exam season, a breakup, or doom scrolling past midnight, stress raises cortisol. Cortisol can whisper to your brain, maybe we shouldn't ovulate yet. So ovulation stalls, your cycle lengthens, and your period app throws its arms in the air. Countermove. A simple wind-down ritual, 10-minute walk, breathing exercise, anything that cues your body to calm the heck down. Second, big weight shifts. Rapid loss or gain, especially combined with restrictive eating or binging, confuses leptin, the hormone that tells your brain there's enough fuel to cycle normally. Athletes sometimes see this as well. Intense exercise, low body fat, cycle vanishes. That's your body conserving resources. Fuel properly, cycle returns. Third, certain medications, steroids, some antipsychotics, even over-the-counter herbal supplements can nudge hormone levels. If you start a new med and your period goes haywire, check the leaflet, then chat with your GP before catastrophizing on Google. Fourth, contraception. Combined pills often give you a neat 28-day bleed, but that bleed is a withdrawal bleed, not your natural cycle. Switch methods, say to the mini pill or a hormone-free copper coil, and your true rhythm re-emerges, sometimes shorter, sometimes longer. That's not something breaking, it's your body showing its default settings. Fifth, thyroid health. Your thyroid hormones are like the thermostat for metabolism. Too low, hypothyroidism, and everything slows, including cycle frequency. Too high, hyperthyroidism, and you may bleed more often. Good news, simple blood test, straightforward management. Sixth, PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome. Classic signs, cycles longer than 35 days, acne, maybe extra hair growth where you wish it wouldn't. Because ovulation is sporadic, periods follow suit. Lifestyle tweaks and medical guidance can tame the chaos. Seventh, perimenopause, which we touched on, mid-40s onward, estrogen swings big. Cycles shorten, then skip, before stopping altogether around 51 on average. Totally natural, though hot flushes may argue otherwise. Eighth, illness or intense travel. Ever notice a cold or long-haul flight bumps your period out of schedule? Acute stress on the body has the same delay effect as emotional stress, usually a one-off. So, with all that variation, when should alarms ring? NHS sets clear tripwires. If your cycle drops under 21 or climbs beyond 35 for 3 periods in a row, check-in time. If bleeding lasts more than 7 days or you're soaking through pads or tampons every hour, that's another flag. Pain so searing you can't work or study? Not something to soldier through indefinitely. And any bleeding between periods or after sex deserves immediate attention. Could be infection, fibroids, endometriosis, occasionally something more sinister like cervical changes. Early checks are always easier than late fixes. Let's lighten the mood with some good news. Small lifestyle choices genuinely smooth out many bumpy cycles. Nutrition first. During each period, you lose up to 5 tablespoons of blood. That's iron out the door. Aim for iron-rich foods, lentils, spinach, lean meats, and pair plant sources with vitamin C to boost absorption. Next, movement. Roughly 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week. The NHS sweet spot. Improves insulin sensitivity and mood, both friends of cycle stability. Sleep is the unsung hero. 7 to 9 hours keeps cortisol in its lane, progesterone happy. Finally, mind-body practices. Studies show regular yoga trims average cycle variability by about 2 days. Nothing mystical, just lowering stress. One more tip I promised earlier. The habit that predicts shifts ahead of time, basal body temperature tracking. Before you so much as roll out of bed, pop a basal thermometer under your tongue. Chart that reading. You'll spot a gentle rise right after ovulation. If that rise comes later 1 month, you know ovulation dragged its feet, and your period will too. It's like getting a timetable update before the train actually leaves late. Cheap, quick, surprisingly empowering. Now, myths round. Myth 1. All women sync up when they live together. Fun campfire story, but large studies haven't found consistent evidence. Random overlap, plus our brain's love of patterns, explains the illusion. Myth 2. Tampons change your cycle length. Tampons collect fluid. They don't rewrite hormone scripts. Myth 3. You can't get pregnant on your period. Sperm can linger up to 7 days. And if you ovulate early in a short cycle, pregnancy can happen. Use protection if pregnancy isn't on your bingo card. Myth 4. Irregular automatically equals infertile. Many people with PCOS or thyroid disorders conceive once the underlying issue is managed. Myth 5. Pain is just part of being a woman. Mild cramping, sure. Pain that makes you miss life events is a medical problem, not a character-building exercise. Let's ground all this in actual voices. I recently spoke with Dr. Emma Clark, a GP who sees cycle concerns daily. I asked her the biggest misconception. She laughed and said, "Everyone thinks 31 days is a crisis. It's not." She also gave the simplest homework. Record day 1 and jot flow and pain. That single habit arms your doctor with real data instead of hazy memory. Okay, time for a rapid recap before we wrap. Normal NHS cycle length, 21 to 35 days. Personal baseline, average at least 3 months of tracking. Common shifters, stress, weight, exercise intensity, medications, thyroid, PCOS, perimenopause, random illness. Red flags, consistent cycles outside the range, bleeding longer than a week or extremely heavy. Severe pain, mid-cycle spotting. Lifestyle allies, iron-balanced meals, regular exercise, solid sleep, stress reduction, basal temperature tracking. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Your period is not an inconvenience to ignore. It's a monthly status report from your body. Listen to it with the same respect you'd give a trusted friend. And if that report suddenly prints in bold red font, too frequent, too late, too painful, show it to a professional. No embarrassment, no shame. That's what healthcare is there for. Now, if this chat cleared up even one lingering worry, tap the like button so others stumble upon it too. Watch this video next on how to spot the difference between premenstrual syndrome and premenstrual dysphoric disorder, according to NHS experts. Thanks for sharing your time with me.